FORA.tv. The world is thinking.
When we talk about you as a single person, it turns out that's the first misstep. You are not one thing. People are a multiplicity of different things happening inside the brain. The right way to think about the brain is like a parliament where you have different political parties that are all battling it out at any given time. So the first mistake that I think has been made for the last, centuries when people think about how the brain actually operates is to think of it as a single device, as sort of one computational thing that gets running. In fact, what you have are all these competing networks in the brain that are trying to drive the single output channel of behavior, and they have to battle it out all the time. It's a machine built of conflicting parts. So if I were to put a big piece of chocolate cake in front of you, part of your brain wants to eat that right away. It's a rich energy source. Part of your brain wants that. Part of your brain says, don't eat it, you're going to get fat. And you have an argument with yourself, right? You can cuss at yourself, you can cajole yourself, get angry at yourself. Who's talking to whom exactly? Right? It's all you, but you have these different networks. Some are involved in short-term decision-making, some are involved in longer-term abstractions, and they're always fighting it out and battling with each other. And I think that's really what I see as the framework that's going to help us get to the next step. So I'll just give you an example. Is what we've been doing, my lab and many others, over the last 12 years has been doing non-invasive neuroimaging of people's brains while they're in the scanner doing different kinds of tasks. And we're at a point now where we can actually tease these networks apart and start looking at what are the different political parties that are fighting. So just to summarize 12 years of data, when you're trying to make a decision between a couple of choices, you have networks in the brain that care about price point. You have other ones that care about the emotional experience, whether something is aversive or rewarding. You have other networks that care about the social context, whether your friends like it or not, and so on. And these things are always fighting it out. But the key is, it's all happening incognito. You don't know this, right? So when you go to the store and you're at the ice cream aisle or something and you're trying to decide which ice cream to get, there's a lot of stuff happening under there, and you don't know why you eventually grab that one and not that one. And so essentially, when I was growing, I assume it's true for everybody in the room, I expected that by the year 2011, we would have robots. Right? C3PO or something. The smartest thing we've got is the Roomba vacuum cleaner. So something went really wrong here, right? AI failed. And the question is, why did it fail? Well, it's a really hard problem is part of the thing, but also it's because the way it's always been approached is, okay, well, let's crack the problem up into a bunch of small parts, and each part of the problem, if you can solve it, like, okay, get the robot to find the block. Okay, fine. Now grab the block. Now stack the block. You divide into these little parts, and then you think you're done. Well, that never worked. I think the future of AI is going to lie in building machines of conflicting parts, the way the brain actually operates, something more like this. And so that's what I think is going to be the future, and that's one of the things my lab's working on.